Hello friends, I welcome you all to this session on learning C programming with the help of problems. So in this section or in today's lecture, what we'll be doing is we'll be understanding that why the conditional statements are required and how to write code for them. So to begin with, let us take one problem. The problem says that write a program to check whether a number entered by the user is even or odd. Now, the thing is, if a number, let's say user enters one number, let's say n, or let's say n is that number. Now, if I have to check that whether this particular number is even or odd, then what I have to do? I have to take the modulo operator of this with 2 and find or check whether this modulo operator is 0 or not. If the modulo operator is 0, then that means it is even, and if it is not 0, then that means it is odd. So what I said, if the modulo, if this particular condition comes out as true, then I say that it is even, else I will be saying that it is odd. So friends, in this way we have to write our conditional statements. It's so simple. That is, if some condition which will be in boolean, that means either it is 1 or 0, true or false, then I have to perform certain tasks. But remember, this has to be in parenthesis so that the program knows that this particular portion belongs to if. Let's say if this is not true, if the condition becomes false, then I have to use else and then block of else, and inside that I have to write the code. So this is called as if else statement or conditional statement. Now this will help you a lot when you will be solving problems where two conditions are there. That is either this, or if this becomes false, then you have to do this. But apart from this, when you are having more than two conditions, then in that particular case you have to go for if else ladder. If the condition becomes false, then do what? Then you have to write inside this else, if else, and so on. So I'll show you both. So first, let us write this particular code, that write a program to check whether the number entered by the user is even or odd. So let us head to our this code blocks. So first I require one number. So let us declare it, and then let us ask from the user, enter a number. Okay. Now scanf. So whatsoever the user will be entering from the keyboard, that has to be transferred to the address of n. Okay. Now what? Now we will be checking what I said, if then parenthesis, then you write that logical condition. That is, if n modulo operator 2, if the remainder is coming out as 0, then what I have to do? I have to simply say print f what? Percentage d is even. And let's say this condition becomes false, then I have to write else this condition is false, that is, this is odd. That's it. So simple. So first I have to have one number. So this is my data part. Then the condition. That means if the remainder is 0, then you print that the number is even, otherwise it is odd. Is there any mistake in the program? Yes, there is a mistake. Mistake in a sense, we will not be able to see what is written here. So this is nothing but n. So this you should always keep in mind. So if I run this program now, so it is asking that enter a number. So let's say I am entering 10. So 10 is even. Yes, 10 is even. It is divisible by 2. Okay. So again run it. Let's say this time I enter 7. So what is 7? 7 is odd. So it should say that 7 is odd. So it has said that 7 is odd. So in this way, friends, you can write your conditional statements, if else. And always remember that there should be a block of if. Now, some people do what? If there is only one and one statement, then they don't write these parentheses or flower brackets. It's okay. If you are having only one condition, then you can do what? You can skip these parentheses here, because that is nothing but telling you that whatsoever is just after it, that will be considered as the part of if. But what if you are having more than one statements inside? Then you have to bundle them up within those flower bracket. The same thing you have to do with else. Is there any other way of writing the same program? Yes, there is another way, and that is what we call as using ternary operators to perform this task. So what is the step? First, you have to write what? You have to write the condition. Then you have to write what will happen if this becomes true. So if this becomes true, you have to print this statement. Okay. Then what? If this becomes false, then colon, then you have to write the another. This one. And close this statement by semicolon. That's it. Now this is not required. So write multi-line comments. Now if you look what I have done, first I have written one condition. If this condition becomes true, then this question mark means that whatsoever will be coming after it will be the case for true. Okay, then it will be printed that n is even, otherwise it will be printed that n is odd. Always remember this type of operation, that is ternary operators, can only be used if you are having single line statements inside if and else. If you are having multi-line statements, then you can't use them. So if I run this particular program, let us delete, this is no more required. So if I run this program, it will ask for a number. So let's say 12 is the number. Now 12 is even. Likewise, if you run it, let's say you are giving it 17, so 17 is odd. So in this way, ternary operators are used. But remember that ternary operators are only and only used if there is only single condition to print, to work on. If there is only, not single condition, I'm sorry, there is only one statement inside for true and one statement for false. That's it. Now let us head to the second problem. It says check that whether a number entered by the user is positive, negative or zero. Now this you have to be. Now look, a number is positive. If number is positive, write it is positive. Else. Now, if number is not positive, then it has to be either 0 or your negative. So else, now inside else, you will be writing if. What if the number is 0? Then you have to print it as 0. Now, if the number is not positive, it is also not negative, then it has to be negative. So, if it is not positive, not 0, then it has to be negative. Simple, very simple. So, inside else, we have written one more if else. So, let us write this program. So, first I am having one number, okay. Now, if I say if the number is positive, means if the number is more than 0. Okay, if the number is more than 0, then what I have to do? I have to simply write printf percentage d is positive, comma n. Okay, now if this becomes false, else. Now if this condition becomes false, then there are two possibilities. What are those? Those are that if this is false, then the number can be either negative or 0. So let us check. If the number is less than 0, then what you have to say? Printf percentage d is negative. So comma n. That's it. Now what if the number is neither positive nor negative, then it has to be 0. So now comes your else condition, that printf percentage d is 0 comma n. Okay, that is how you can write your nested if else. Look here, if it becomes true, very good, then print this statement and then come out of this if else. Whereas if this is not 0, more than 0, then what? Then we are having two possibilities. What are those? Those are, it can be either less than 0 or it can be 0. So if it is not less than 0, then it has to be 0. So this is else, if else inside another if else. And we can do this continuously. Now, what is the thing, what is the catch here? The catch here is, if you are having more than two conditions to check, how many conditions do we have here? Three. First, more than 0, less than 0 and 0. So if you are having more than two conditions, then you have to use this. Then you have to write your program like this. I'll tell you something more interesting, but that is basically derived from this particular ladder structure only. So let us run this program and enter a number. So I am entering 10. What is this? Is it a positive, negative, 0? It is positive number, so it should give me 10 is positive. Let us take another number. Let us take minus 5. What type of number is this? Positive, negative or 0? It is negative number, so minus 5 is negative. So let us take 0. What is 0? 0 is 0. So 0 is 0. So in this way you can work. Now friends, look very carefully. Now this if will be directly executed the moment else takes the charge. That means this condition becomes false. So now people have started thinking that what is the use of this parenthesis at all? You bring this if right in front of else. Look how I am doing it. I am removing this, I am bringing it in front of else. Now the moment I have done it, there is no use of this parenthesis. Okay, now look, I am just making it look better, that's it. Now what I have done, if, else, yes, you have guessed it right. This is what we say as, call as if, else if, else if, else if, else. What do I mean by else if? If you are having more than two conditions, then you write if first condition, then else if write second condition, then else if write third condition, then else if write fourth condition, and if you are having, let's say, five conditions, then else that fifth condition will come. That's it. It is so simple. So if I run it, you will be getting the same answer, 10 positive. If I run it again, let's say minus 20 negative. So if I run it again, 0 0. Simple. So that is how we write conditional statements for those types of problem where we are having more than two conditions to check. Okay. So let's say, what else problem do I have? Do I have anything interesting problem? No, all problems are very easy. Now let us take this problem. This you can do it yourself. I'll give you a hint. So this, let me copy this problem and paste it down so that you can understand it better. What does this says? This says if two engines are working in series. So let's say this is engine 1 and this is working in series with engine 2. Let's say these engines are reversible engine. So what is an engine? It receives energy from one source, reject it to another. Let's say it is rejecting Q2, gaining Q1, in turn developing some work. Similarly, it is the same energy which E1 has rejected to E2, and this is your Q3. Let's say it is T3. So what it is saying, T2. So okay, let me do what? Slightly I will tweak this. Tweak what? Tweak the nomenclature, that's it. And then this is Q2, so this is T2. Now let's say the intermediate temperature is T, and this engine is rejecting this below engine is doing some work W2. Now, it is a known fact in thermodynamics that if the efficiency of both the engines are same, that is eta 1 is eta 2, then the intermediate temperature has to be the geometric mean of these two. Whereas if the work output of both the engines are same, then the intermediate temperature will be the arithmetic mean of these two temperatures, that is T1 and T2. Okay, now what you have to do, write a program to evaluate the intermediate temperature for both the cases and compare which intermediate temperature is more. It is very simple. So user will be giving you what? T1 as well as T2. So these are first primary informations. Okay, let's say this is 800 and let's say this is 300. Now user will also give that what is the right program to value the intermediate temperature for the case and compare which one is more. Okay, now you will be evaluating that temperature for equal efficiency. So this one will be evaluated, and then temperature for equal work. So this one will be evaluated. Then you have to check if TFF is more than TW, print TFF. That means temperature in case of equal efficiency is more, else print the temperature in case of equal work output is more. Okay, that is how you can work with. And you already know the answer, it is not a very big deal because you all know that the arithmetic mean of two temperatures is always more than the geometric mean provided the temperatures are, or arithmetic mean of two numbers is more than the geometric mean of two numbers provided those numbers are not same. It is very simple thing. Okay, now what else? Write a program roots. Let us do this. Let us write a program to check that whether any quadratic equation is having real equal roots or unequal roots or imaginary roots and so on. So now how we can write now this problem, please do try friends. So how a quadratic equation is defined? It is x square ax square plus bx plus c, and that is 0. Now when this particular equation will be having positive roots, negative roots, or real roots or imaginary roots, who will tell this? Discriminant. What is discriminant? B square minus 4ac. So if the discriminant is negative, then the roots will be imaginary. If the discriminant is 0, then the roots will be real and equal. If the discriminant is more than 0, then the roots will be real and unequal. So that this is the program. Let's say I want to check for x square minus 6x plus 5 is equal to 0. So in this case, a will be 1, b will be minus 6 and c will be 5. Okay, so let us do this. So here let's say a comma b comma c and one more discriminant. Enter a, b and c. Okay, now percentage d, percentage d, percentage d for a, b and c. I think this till this point it is clear to you all. Okay, now what I have to do? I have to find the discriminant, that is b square. Now math is already there, so I can use that power function. B square minus 4 into a into c. That's it. Now check if if the discriminant is less than 0. If the discriminant is less than 0, then what? Printf imaginary roots. Okay. Now if the discriminant is not less than 0, then there are two possibilities. What are those possibilities? Else if the discriminant is 0, then what I have to do? I have to simply printf that the roots are real and equal, and if now if this condition becomes false, if this condition also becomes false, then what will be left? That root, that d is now more than 0. So that is else. We needn't have to write any condition in else. We will simply be printing that the roots are real and unequal. That's it. So simple. Now let us run it. So enter value of a, b and c. So what was there in our case? A is 1, b is minus 6 and c is 5. So a is 1, b is minus 6 and c is 5. So now if you look this, you all know that this can be written as x square minus 5x minus x plus 5 0. You take x common, here you take minus common, and if you solve this, so it is x minus 1, x minus 5. So the roots will be 1 and 5. So what type of roots are these? These are real as well as unequal. So if I run this program, so roots are real and unequal. This has given me the answer. Simple. Okay. So let us take another example. Let's say it is x square minus 2x plus 1. What are the roots? Yeah, you have guessed it right. It is x minus 1 whole square. So it is a square plus b square minus 2ab. So if you solve this, you will be getting x as 1 and 1. So roots will be real as well as equal. So let us do it 1 minus 2 and 1. So if I run it, 1 minus 2 and 1, so roots are real and equal. So similarly, you can also check for the case where a discriminant will come out as negative. So let us check one. So if I write 4x square minus x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now what is b? It is minus 1. So b square will be 1 minus 4. What is a? It is 4. What is c? It is 1. So this is negative. So 4 minus 1 and 1 will give me what? Imaginary. So 4 minus 1 and 1. So imaginary roots. Okay. So in this way you can write this simple program of finding that whether the numbers entered by the user for which will be acting as coefficients for that quadratic equation. So whether those particular combination of numbers represents a quadratic equation which is having imaginary roots, real equal roots, real and unequal roots. That's it, simple. So friends, in this lecture, what I have done is I have explained you that how to solve the problems where it is given that the some condition, it is given some condition, and then you have to write your program, you have to judge the answer based on that particular condition. So what I will do is, in the description of this video, I will leave this question and this question for your practice. Please do them so that you can understand these statements well. Thank you very much for watching the video. Take care.